Anahata, the heart center. This just delights me. And again, we're only scraping the surface, but we're looking at this wonderful little center here that has 3 centers below and 3 above. The 3 below are connected with the primitive brain. I think every one of us can kind of identify with those thoughts. I know I can identify with my primitive brain thoughts. That's my first thought. My first thought comes from my primitive brain. My second thought, if I can have the wherewithal, the awareness and consciousness, conscious awareness to pause and let the higher part of me come in, then that takes my decision making up to the higher 3 centers. And where did that start? You know, there's all these sayings that say, think with your heart, or follow your heart, or live from your heart. And it's so funny how all this connects like that. So the higher 3 are about imagination, wisdom, and liberation. The lower 3 are about survival, sex, and power. So I will have a survival thought. It's my primitive thought. And then if my heart is open, I can take that thought upward. Maybe I don't have the consciousness or awareness. So consciousness and awareness, we can look at those as coming from the heart and the gut rather than from our head. Not necessarily from our head. And this center has to do with, with the heart and lungs, obviously, circulatory system. And this is interesting. The thymus gland is the one that produces those things we've heard of called T cells. T cells destroy cancer and boost immunity. The other thing I noticed is that this word unity is an immunity, and I capitalized the letter T and the letter U, immunity. That's interesting. Everything working together in unity creates immunity. When the heart is open, there's more immunity. The element is air. The sense, we went in the first area was smell, and then we went to taste. And then, oh my gosh, I totally forget what the sense was for the third one. But this one is touch. I'll figure that out later. And the color is green, or it could be pink. And when I think of green, I think of a beautiful green, healthy meadow full of wildflowers, just unadulterated, untouched. And that's where my heart would be. And of course, compassion, forgiveness, empathy, and acceptance. If I take in everything through these filters, then everything kind of goes upward. If these filters are blocked, then I might go down into survival or power or sex. And I could even relate that to something like touch, where a touch could be completely innocent and loving and non-sexual and intimate in a way that is agape, unconditional human connection. Or it could be go the other way into touch could be used for power or sex or survival. And the sound is yum, which sounds a lot like yum, which resonates in here. And when I say yum, it feels like yum. And my heart always feels like yum. Oh, I love this quote. I pulled this out of one of the resources, the primary resource that I'm using. If our role in this lifetime is to balance, heal, and integrate, because I think down here, I'm pointing out ego is a separation, and it's very dualistic. It's one or the other. It's black and white. Spirit is unity, inclusivity, wholeness, which translates into holiness. And if our role in this lifetime is to balance, heal, and integrate the opposing poles, boom, boom, heaven and earth, it can only be accomplished through the unconditional love of the center. So if we, from now on, whenever we say we're thinking with our heart, we are truly thinking with our heart center. We can take that lesson with us, if no other lesson. Really fun stuff. And I have a practice with movement and breathing to go along with this lesson, which we can begin by taking our strap and putting it close to our mat. Or actually, why don't you hold your strap in your hand? Hold your strap in your hand, in both hands about shoulder width apart. And what the strap will do, and you can take in the ends and then bring it shoulder width apart so you don't have it hanging down. Or maybe a little wider than shoulder width like mine. And what the strap does is it gives us something to focus on. We can push it away from us and we can pull it apart. And that just adds a little more, and you don't have to pull hard, but it might give you something to kind of tether your attention. And breathe in, let your arms reach forward as you pull the strap apart and push it up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, move the strap down. And as you pull the strap into your thighs, pull your arm bones and your shoulders back, and then tuck your low ribs in. Inhale, reach strap forward and up, open your heart here. Exhale, lower and open your heart here by bringing your low ribs in, but pulling your arms and shoulders backward as you press the strap into your thighs. One more time, inhale. Push up, push up, push up. Take a breath out. Pull your belly in, lift your heels. Inhale, reach up a little higher. Exhale, heels down. Strap lowers. Keep breathing as you press strap into your thighs. Arm bones pull back. Elbows move back and together behind you. Your chin tucks in and you feel collarbones and heart nice and wide. Remove your strap. Drop it to the ground. Place your hands at your sides. Relax your shoulders and breathe into this moment. And maybe as you breathe into this moment, you can breathe into a green meadow. He leads me by still waters and into green pastures. That green pasture right in the heart center, right in the chest, still breathing into our belly. And now the breath rising from the root up to the heart has a different meaning, doesn't it? It has maybe there's a different connection when we breathe from our pelvic floor, our root, up through those centers to our heart. We have possibly a different connection. And maybe we feel that liberation starting to open up as our energy rises. Annette, make sure you're muted, please. Now, turn to one side. You might want to turn the same way as I am, but it really doesn't matter that much. Reach your arms up over your head. Move through chair, down to the ground, and come onto your knees. Let's see if we can create a heart-opening flow following our breath. Let's follow that inhale into a cow pose, arching our backs. Follow the exhale, press down through our hands, pull in through our belly, lift our arms up. Inhale, rotate to your right side. Exhale, bring that back arm around and down. So you circled your back arm up and back, and we'll exhale into cat. Pull the belly up and rounding our backs, pressing into the earth with knees and feet and hands, exhaling into cat. When we inhale, right arm goes forward and left leg goes back, spinal balance. And our exhale will take us into child's pose, keeping our knees hip width apart. Let's inhale back to cow pose, back to cow, breathing in. Exhale, push off the floor, lift up. So that exhale moves into the belly to lift you from your core. Inhale, turn to your left side, open your arms. Lower that bottom arm, exhale to cat pose, round up. Left arm, right leg moves forward and back, spinal balance, breathe in. Exhale into child's pose. Inhale into cow. Open your heart forward through the gateway of your arms like you're shining it forward. Exhale, push through the ground, rise up, arms up. Inhale, twist to your right side. Right arm goes back. Lower that right arm, complete the circle. Exhale, cat pose, hands down, belly up. Inhale, right arm, left leg, spinal balance. Exhale, child's pose. Let's keep it going. Press down. Move your chest forward. Inhale, cow. Exhale, push off the ground to lift your arms up. Breathe in to turn left, left turn. Bring the left arm down. Exhale, cat pose. Spinal balance, left arm, right leg. Exhale, child's pose. One more time on each side. Inhale, cow, back bend, little back bend, belly still strong. Exhale, push off the ground, arms up, hips forward. Right turn on your inhale. Keep circling your right arm to come down into cat, round up, lifting your belly. Spinal balance, right arm, left leg, nice long breath in. Exhale, child's pose. Last one, inhale, cow. Exhale, bend your elbows, push up, reach up. Left turn on your inhale. Exhale, lift your belly, hands down, cat. Left arm, right leg, breathe in. Child's pose to the exhale. Allow yourself 2 slow, complete, full breaths in child's pose. Come up onto your hands and knees. Hold your strap in one hand while you step your right foot forward. Tuck your left toes under. And as you come up, move your left foot to the left side so you can put your left heel down. You have some space left to right between your feet. And you can bend into your right knee without moving it past your toes. It might come over your foot, but not past your toes. Take a longer stance if your knee comes past your toes. Hold your strap so that it is a little wider than shoulder width. Let it reach forward and pull it apart as you feel your shoulder blades sliding together and down your back. Tuck your low ribs in here. So even though you might do a little back bend and a heart opener, you're still engaging your belly. Hip hinge forward a little bit. Now here's our inhale. Inhale. Exhale, up and over, straighten your legs. Inhale up. Open your heart, shoulder blades sliding down your back. Breathe in. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, reach up, pull that strap apart. Pull it to open your chest. Exhale, forward and down. Release a little bit here. Release a little bit of the tension and soften. 2 more times. Inhale, reach up and back. Release, exhale. Last one. Now just turn your, are you facing the same way as me? Yeah, let's step the front foot forward, your front foot forward, and step your right foot back so that when you turn to me, your toes are facing me. Yahoo. Now turn your left toes out again. Turn your right toes in a little bit, heel out. Nice wide stance. Open up your strap, and you might have to open up more as you move through this posture, or you might notice that you can take it a little closer together, but it is fairly wide, about as wide as your knees, or maybe even as wide as, almost as wide as your ankles. Push it up above your head, breathe in. Bend your left knee, bring your left hand down, and then roll back, pull that strap back as you exhale. Inhale, push the strap up overhead, straighten your legs. Exhale, release those shoulders, draw your chin back. Push your strap up over your head again. Bend your left knee, hand to the left hand to the left, and pull your strap back behind you, straightening your right arm. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come down. Let's flow through that with our breath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, side angle, pull the strap back. Inhale, press up. Exhale, pull down. Push your strap up and push it back. Exhale, over. Press the strap away from you, up and over, and pull it back behind your head at the same time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower. Give your shoulders a little roll. Breathe in, breathe out. Pivot over to your left side. Turn your toes to the left. Bring your strap behind you. Hold your strap between your hands so that either your hands are touching or you have maybe shoulder width or a little narrower than shoulder width, but come as close together as you can as you roll your arm bones back, tuck your low ribs in, and bring your elbows as close together behind your back as you can with biceps facing forward. Your biceps and your elbow creases facing forward. Now we're ready. Press your strap back. Pull your low ribs in. Engage your belly. Remember Mula Bandha? That's the root lock. Remember Uddiyana Bandha from last week? That's your abdominal lock. Breathe in to turn on, or breathe out to turn on both of those locks. Tap into your back foot. And then when you are ready, fly, because this is all about airiness. Air in the heart. And what is between heaven and earth? Air. Connecting. Fly into your warrior three, maybe bending the leg that you're standing on and straightening it. Keep pressing your elbows together and back, away from your shoulders. Press that strap back behind you. Lift it up towards the sky. Roll your lifted thigh in toward your midline, inward. If you bent your knee, your foot will go out to the side, your knee would go to the midline, and then stretch that heel out to push it away. Step back, release. Give yourself one last heart opener right here in crescent or warrior one. Breathe in. Draw your chin backwards so you lengthen the back of your neck. Feel that length through the back of your neck and gaze up. We're not lifting our chin so much as lifting our sternum right through that breastbone, lifting up. Come back to center. Release your strap, standing mountain in the center of your mat. And pause. Now let yourself feel all of the sensations of this present moment. Start with your feet. Your legs are associated with the strength of the earth in your pelvic floor. There's no supposed to's here. There's no have to's. We can completely let go of any expectation that comes from the primitive brain, which is very insecure. It's never enough. It's always grasping for something other than what is. So as we scan and notice each place and the sensations there, we don't have to say anything about it needing to be one way or the other. We could just say, that's interesting. Now squat down and pick up your strap. As you turn to your right side, step your right foot forward. Your right foot. Nope. Your left foot. Your left foot forward. Step your right foot back. And move that right foot towards me so you have some space left to right between your feet and your back heel is on the ground. And when you bend into your front knee, it does not go past your toes, but might go over your foot. Bring your strap about a little wider than shoulder width. Reach up, press it up, pull it down behind your back. Pull the elbows back, your elbows back and your shoulder blades. Feel them slide up and down on your rib cage. Tuck your chin back so your head stays in line with the rest of your spine, not in front of your spine. Yeah? And then draw the lower ribs in. Just tuck the base of that sternum down and in as you pull up through your pubic bone. Now, moving from all those first three centers to hold and support the heart. Letting the ground, the earthy centers of survival and sex and creativity and power support that heart center to open it up. And we hinge forward a little bit here as the chest and the ribs go forward and the low ribs tuck in, arm bones go back, chin tucks in. Let's breathe in. Exhale, push up and forward, straighten your legs. Your left foot is forward, your right leg is back. Let's do it again. Breathe in. Exhale. I got 2 breaths on that. Don't worry if you add extra breaths. Inhale, breathe whenever you need to. Exhale. Three more. Pull the strap apart, push it to the sky, draw it apart as you glide your shoulder blades down your back, open your heart center, and release, 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 release. Now you are going to step up and change legs. I'm not, because we're all going to face each other. Give me a thumbs up if that worked for you. Okay, good. We're on the right track. Wide stance. Left toes turn in, right toes turn out. Strap is going to be really nice and wide here, and you can widen it or narrow it as we go through this movement as necessary. Press it up, breathe in. Bend your right knee, right hand down, and pull the strap behind you. As you exhale, inhale, press up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, push up. Bend your knees, side angle posture. Roll that left shoulder back while you press your strap back. Inhale, back up. Exhale, come down. We have 3 more flows with our breath. Breathe in. Pull the strap back. Exhale. Push it back, but push over to the right side. Inhale, pull it up and back. Exhale, come forward. Heart center is getting really free now. Inhale. Exhale. Push your strap up, pull it back behind you and up over your head. Breathe in again, pull it back. Exhale, come down. We might have one more, or we might not, but we're doing one more. Breathe in. Exhale. Push it across, pull it back behind you. Back up. Release down. Beautiful. Hold your strap behind your back. Pivot your toes over to your right side. Your strap is, your hands might be touching here, or they might be a little wider, or they might be shoulder width. But they're as close as you can get them, and straighten your arms. And then rotate your biceps forward so your elbows start to look at each other and they say, hey there. Elbows together. Feeling those upper arm bones rolling back and together behind you. Tuck your low ribs in. Go to that pelvic floor. Mula Bandha. Repetition isn't redundant, it's practice. So Mula Bandha, lift the pelvic floor. Uddiyana Bandha, draw in up through your abdominals. Let your heart space open while you connect all of that by drawing arm bones back. And then draw your chin back. We'll talk about that more next week so we can keep the back of the neck long. Take your weight onto your left foot. Your right foot, onto your right foot. And when you are ready, fly. And as you're flying, press your strap back, lift it towards the sky. Use your breath, your exhales to turn on that root lock. All of that support from the earth so you can get airy through your heart. Rising up through those elements of earth and water and sun, fire, 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 into the element of air, flying. Maybe bend your standing knee a little bit, straighten it. And bend your lifted knee and roll it out and in. And what we're trying to do is roll it in so the foot might roll out and the knee rolls in, and then straighten the leg with that internal rotation. Press back through your heel and feel what you feel. Slowly come down onto your back toes, maybe the heel too. Take your strap down your back thigh. Tuck your chin in. Use your earthy elements to lift that air. Lift with your chest, not with your chin. Tuck your chin in and let your chest take your gaze up. So your chest and eyes face in the same direction. Release. Come to center. Release your strap. Stand in mountain pose. Take a pause. And say, ah, through your heart. Now, this time on our exhale, let's say yam, which sounds like yum. And let there be a resonance. You might even put your hand on your chest and feel the resonance in your chest. Breathing in. Y-A-H-M. Yum. Relax your shoulders. Do it a few more times at your own pace. Inhale fully. Yum. Yam might remind you of Yahweh. Breathing in. Or maybe you already breathed in, so don't listen to me, just breathe. Let your arms hang down by your sides and spend a moment scanning your body from your feet to the crown of your head. Move through your centers. Just simply be aware of what's happening there without needing to judge it or change it. And once you've made it to the crown of your head, go back to your pelvic floor, the earth grounding into your feet. Lifting from that grounding through your pelvic floor, the earth, the water in your pelvis, creativity, pleasure, the fire in your abdominals, in your solar plexus, in your digestion, fire. And the soft green airiness of your heart center. Green meadow, wide open space. Let your meadow envision it as wide and open and spacious. Miles and miles and miles of green, open, airy meadow. Or maybe green leaves in trees with air blowing around the leaves. Oh, that spaciousness. The leaves blow freely through the heart center, nourished by the water from the pelvis and the dirt from the earth and the fire from the sun. A healthy green tree. Open your eyes. Take your feet back wide again. Turn your left toes out. And we'll be doing a touching here. So take your right hand, put it on your right shoulder, and touch yourself. Now, not only is this associated with the non-sexual healing physical touch and skin and sensory awareness, but there's a biological advantage to this. It not only helps your fascia and your lymph flow, but it can activate meridians and boost immunity. Now let's reach our left arm out. Reach our left arm to the left and put the left fingertips just below your knee on your shin. And they'll stay there lightly. They're not going to press into that chin, but they'll stay there lightly. Reach down with your right arm and slide your hand, the touch of your hand, your fingers, your hand. This center that we're working on right now is associated with chest, not shoulders, chest, arms, wrists, hands, and fingers. Breathe in. Bring your right hand back to your shoulder, slide across your chest, touch your own body with compassion and love. Look down, relax your neck. Slide up, feel. Close your eyes if you like to just feel the sensation of this movement and slide back down. Now, if you think about someone or something, be it a pet or a child or a beloved that you would caress, allow that loving kindness and that caress to come to you from God, through you, for you, with you, and ahead of you, protecting and guiding you. You feel that touch reassuring, comforting, loving. One more time. Up, we'll go up. Slide up. Reach up a little higher this time. And as you reach up higher and draw your right shoulder back, slide your left hand down without rolling your right shoulder forward and press deeply into your right heel and outer foot. Whew. And just feel that spaciousness there. As you roll your heart center, let your heart look towards the sky. Your neck doesn't have to, your head doesn't have to, but let your heart look up. Your head could actually look down. Try that. Nose down, heart looking up. Rise strong through your belly. Practice that core awareness as you lift up. Give your shoulders a roll. And let your arms hang by your sides for a moment. To begin, imagine that there is a wall behind you and everything, heels and hips and upper back and chin drawn back, the crown of the head and the shoulders are back against that wall and your belly's moving toward that wall. As you turn your left toes in and your right toes out, touch your chest, touch your left shoulder, reach out with your right arm. Soften your knees without bending them. So they're just soft, they're unlocked. Bring your hand to your shin just below your knee so you have lots of space to roll your rib cage up and your left shoulder back. Slide across your chest and down your right arm. You can look if you want, or you can look straight ahead. Slide back up your arm across your chest. Come to that shoulder, touch that shoulder and draw it back first. And then reach up, unfold, elbow, wrist, and then fingers. Inhale. Exhale, slide down. Now let's let our breath guide us. Let your core, your fire, and your earth hold you up. Your legs and your strong belly hold you up while you let this airiness, you facilitate an airiness and an openness through your heart center. Stroking, caressing, loving, manifesting and cultivating compassion through that heart with self-compassion. Let's flow through at our own pace 3 more times. Stay up this time. Next time you get up, reach up a little taller. Let your ribs turn to look up so your heart center is looking up. Reach up with your left fingers. Possibly slide your right fingers down. Maybe not, because we don't want that left shoulder to roll forward. And close off the heart center, but keep it open. Draw your skull backward. Look down. Keep your left shoulder moving away from your left ear as you stretch up through your left fingertips. You can release your head towards your right foot. Tap into that core, pelvic floor, and belly to lift up. Breathe in. Exhale, let it go. Turn your toes forward. Bring your feet to the center. Bring your hands to your heart. Let's take 3 yummy breaths with a yum on the exhale. Inhale. Yum. Let your arms hang down by your sides. Give your shoulders a roll. Squat down with good form, like you're doing chair pose. Get your strap. Turn to your side, doesn't matter which side. Make a loop. Hang that loop behind you. Put a foot in the loop. Now, first, we'll bring knees together. I have a wall. Do you have a wall? Use a wall. First, we'll bring knees together and bring the hand as close to the foot as we can with the knees together and with pubic bone forward. Flatten out the hip crease right here. This crease in the hip where we hip hinge, just flatten that out. Knees together, crease flattened. So you might have a little more space to get the knees together and not have the knee in front of the other knee, but the knees together. And if this is enough for you, bring your other hand to heart center, and this is your posture for tonight. You can breathe into this posture. Now I will give you progressions, but that doesn't mean you need to take them. Progression number 1. Tuck your low ribs in, connect the dots between your pubic bone and your sternum, and push your foot back. So you're pushing your foot into the strap, bending your standing knee slightly, keeping this hip open as you press the knee back. Still, there's a hand on your heart. Progression number 2, opposite arm reaches for the sky. We're still connecting through the pelvic floor and the foot and leg and the belly. Those building blocks we already studied. And then maybe pick up that leg just a little bit more, and without doing an extreme back bend, keep connecting through the center and keep that hip crease open to push your foot back and reach your arm upward and forward, upward and forward. Push your foot into the strap, bend your standing knee. Pause and breathe into those centers that you've already connected with. We're on the 4th one, opening our hearts. Bring your knees back together slowly if you took them apart, and you didn't have to, because we'll go one step at a time. Release down. Do some ankle circles with both feet. And some hip circles would be really nice here to what? Get that water moving around in the bowl, because this area getting locked up locks up our pleasure and our creativity and our emotions. So let's let that water slosh around. And this area, the hip area, gets overworked when we don't have the strength down here or here. So we have strength here in the belly and down here in the legs, then our hips don't have to overwork. You can turn to the other side. And you don't have to turn, but I like to turn because I don't like to turn my head the same way the whole time. Get your other foot as you connect to your standing leg. Move your hand when your knees are together and your hip crease is open. Then you can move your hand as close to your foot as you can get it. Hip crease is open. Now, what do I mean by that? This is your hip joint right here. When your hip joint is flexed, there's a crease there. That's when you're sitting. So let's take the pelvis up in the front and the knees together and the thigh bone straight down for starters. Bring the other hand to your heart. Take some nice full deep breaths. Nice full deep breaths. In, out. Here's your progressions. You do not have to take them. The first steps are the most important. We've pretty much determined that if we don't build from the ground up, we'll create more imbalance. So once we have the knees together and the hip open, then we can start to extend the hip instead of flex. This is flexion when the knee is forward. And when your one knee goes behind your standing knee, that's a bit of hip extension without folding the pelvis forward. See this arch in your back? Right? So extend your hip and draw your knee back. Other hands on the heart. Then as you push your foot back and bend into your standing knee just a little bit, other arm can go up. Reach it. Try to take the back bend out by engaging Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha to connect the front body. Then maybe you're pushing that foot back more, but you're still lifted. There's not a huge back bend here. And as you push your foot back, still reach for the sky. Lift the foot, lift the arm simultaneously. Breathe through. The back knee is not moving out to the side, it's moving towards the center line. Interesting. Now, why are we interested in the front of the hip so much? If you want to be able to lift your arms up over your head, you need to have this area open. So let's go there next. Let's go down to the earth. Into puppy pose, which is going to feel so good. Reach your arms up and wide, so your hands are a bit wider than your shoulders. And we're going to make space through the latissimus dorsi, which are totally connected to those hip flexors. So we can release through our shoulders, which what? Releases our chest right here. As we push the arm up, we release this. Feel this. Go ahead and feel it. Feel that chest muscle right there. Right? That chest muscle, when it gets rigid, it's going to hold your shoulder down and limit your range of motion there. So let's open that up by pressing into the mat, down and forward, bringing our knees up over our hips. And we're going to alternate between melting and pressing. Here we go. Inhale, push your hands in and down and forward while you push your hips back and pull your low ribs in, Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha. Inhale. Exhale, melt. Just melt, just let gravity take over. Now inhale, fill your rib cage with breath. Lift up through your belly and your pelvic floor. Maybe you lift your head and push your hands down and forward. That's the inhale. The exhale, you melt. Oh, melt your chest. Feel your side body of your upper back side body under your armpits. Feel that chest area that you just connected with. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, push, forward and back, lengthen, Engage, activate. Exhale, melt and release. Last time, push. Lengthen the space a little bit more from your fingertips to your sit bones. Just make it a little bit longer. Exhale, release. Now as you sink back into your hips or your heels with your hips, turn your palms upward like an open-hearted gesture and lower your head towards the earth. And if it doesn't hit, put something under it like a pillow. I will give you one more option here, and you don't need to take it at all, but you may. Walk your elbows forward. Bend your elbows, bring your palms together. As you let your hips sink back toward your heels, traction your elbows back so that you have the maximum amount of space for your body between your tailbone and your elbows. Elbows forward and upper arms squeezing your ears. You might not be able to hear me because your upper arms are squeezing in towards your ears. And our thumbs come to the back of our neck. Now just feel and breathe into that green meadow in your heart. Or maybe it's a blue sky with puffy clouds. Something spacious, open and airy. Reach your arms forward so you can look forward and push up slowly. And if you brought those two pillows to your practice, I want you to put one between your shoulder blades and one under your head. One between your shoulder blades, one under your head to lift up your heart center, pick up your chest, your sternum. But I don't want that pillow to be wider than your upper back, your ribs, because I want your arms to be able to fall down on either side. Keep your feet flat on the ground while you get the pillow under your head and under your shoulder blades. And just feel it picking up. You don't want it too low on your ribs. But if you took a line down from your sternum, the center of your sternum, your breastbone, straight down through your upper back, that's kind of the pinnacle here. That's what we want to lift up. Let those arms fall out, roll out and down. Just roll out and down with the palms open. Allow your shoulders to fall out to the side and away from your heart center. Feel the spaciousness and the airiness across your heart, cultivating compassion. And you may here let your feet be wide and your knees pressed together. This might be what your body needs. Or you may open your hip joints the other way a little bit by pressing the soles of your feet together in the opposite direction. Knees in or knees out. Feet on the floor. We have a chance to practice for the next few moments exactly what we talked about at the beginning, which was notice the lower reactions to whatever happens. Like if a dog barks and interrupts me, I mean, be like, my lower primitive reaction might be, shut that dog up, he's bothering me. And then my heart takes that in, and my heart can translate that circumstance with a pause, with a breath, into, no, I don't need that dog to be quiet, because I have a choice to be at peace, even amidst that noise, or that car alarm going off. And there, what we do is we take it in through the filter, the loving filter of our hearts, and let our hearts transform, not the outside, but the inside, and direct all that energy upward into consciousness and awareness. Into changing our energies, the energies within us that all the time are being projected outward. And we're not wasting anything. We're not wasting any of our energy when we use those higher centers to transform into equanimity, calm in the midst of a storm. And we have a really good example of that as Jesus was sleeping in a boat in the middle of a thunderstorm. Waves and waves and waves. And the rest of the people were panicking, as we would, I'm sure. Now, let me ask you, was that storm really on the outside? Or was the storm calmed and the waves leveled within? Did Jesus actually change the weather? Or did he help transform the weather patterns within his friends? Can we allow that same name, that same character, that same teacher and guide and representation to help our hearts transform our internal weather patterns, regardless of the weather or the circumstances on the outside? And our ego says, absolutely not. It'll always argue. There'll always be an argument within us. Which one will we feed? Will we feed the divisiveness and fear and the attitude of lack, the illusion of lack? Or will we choose unity, empathy, and an attitude of abundance? If our knees are apart, actually it doesn't matter. If our knees are apart or together, it doesn't matter. Let's take our feet to the ground and let our knees fall to one side. Pause and go to the other side. And pause. And swish out the water in the pelvis. Let it swish around. We've still got mobility in our stability through our core, our solar plexus area, through our strong legs and anchored feet. And isn't it interesting, if our feet is part of our root, that the Bible talks about putting on shoes of peace. And the solar plexus, a belt of truth. Wow, the willpower of truth, the power of truth. And what about a breastplate of righteousness, of right standing, of right relationship with our higher power? Righteousness is not being a good person or a do-gooder or a law follower. Jesus talked about that very clearly with the Pharisees. But he taught us that righteousness is the right standing with God. That's a gift because God is our Father and he created us and he loves us because we are his children and we are in right standing all the time. And it's just us that needs to come into the awareness of that right standing. And how do we get there? Through the opening of our hearts to compassion and love and connection, because there is no separation between loving God, loving others, and loving ourselves. And only the power of God makes that possible. Let's make our transition maybe into a knees to chest if you need that. I do. And from a knees to chest into a seated position where you may grab, locate, retrieve your notebook or paper or writing implement. And there was a lot in this lesson. And it's familiar, but maybe something came as an epiphany or an aha or a, I never thought about it that way before. And I want to write this down. That one thing just really resonated with me. And it resonates with me because. And I can use this, I can put this in my memory to take it with me. This is a takeaway for me because what I'm going through right now this is going to be really useful for something that I'm going through right now. And that's your question, what I just said. What is it that resonates? I'm going to give you 3 minutes. What is the circumstance where it feels really useful? And or what did you hear that wasn't new, but maybe just in a different way, a connection? What connection did you make? So I'll start the 3 minutes.